In 2017, I left South Africa and I came to Canada. That was a big decision to make, and life in Canada for the first couple of months was extremely challenging. Every morning I woke up, I had a decision to make. Do I focus on the past or do I focus on what was ahead for the day and for the future? That perspective changed everything. Hi, welcome to Dr. Shahiem Hartley's podcast. My name is Shahiem Hartley. I'm a South African born Canadian family physician, and this show comes to you from Edmonton, Alberta. Today's podcast is Positivity is the First Step. This podcast is for you if you are already a positive person. You are naturally positive, you do things the right way, you focus on all the right things, then this is a little sprinkling on your positive day. If you are the second type of person, you are mostly positive, you've got your fair share of negativity, then this is for you. And thirdly, you are somebody that's stuck in a negative loop. You focus on the negativity, you focus on the negative things in your life, and you need some way to make a change, some way to spark your positivity to get out of this loop, then this podcast is for you. So let me first start off by saying what positivity is not. It's not fluff. It's not the absence of negativity. It's not some concept that's out there for some other people. It's for everyone. When I came over in 2017 to Canada, the temperature was different. In South Africa, the coldest temperature I ever felt was plus 10 degrees Celsius. In 2017, when I was here, it got to minus 40 degrees Celsius. That was a huge temperature swing. There were so many things that were different. The currency was different. The accent was different. Driving on the right side of the road, I had to get a learner's license. I had to get a driver's license, even though I've been driving for 20 years in Cape Town. So these things were different. And when you're faced with all this different things hurled at you all at the same time, you can become overwhelmed. You can become negative. But this is where you have to make that decision for yourself and decide what is important for me. How do I want to live my life? And I've decided a long time ago that I'm going to be positive as best that I can. We all have our bad days, we have our ups and downs. But for the most part, I'm going to try and be positive every single day. And then I'm going to be positive every single day of my life. So if we think about positivity, what is the secret sauce? There are so many talks on the internet, so many good people doing good work about positivity, but it's different for everybody. So over the years, I've crystallized my thoughts. What is the best way to take this complex topic and make it simple? So I've divided it into three parts. I always like the number three. It's a nice odd number to use. They say to be number one, you need to be odd. So I'm going to divide it into three parts for you. And so the first part, which is always the most important part, is your mind. Your mind is critical to everything in your existence. So your mind is the lens in which you see your life. Your mind is the thing that you need to make positive every single day. So the lens is your mind. It's like Tony Robbins, he says that the life you experience is the life you focus on. It's a very profound statement. And the way I interpret that is when you wake up in the morning, there is your default life, your negative life, your miserable life, your complaining, things are not going my way, my body hurts, you complaining, moaning, that's your default. Everybody has that. That's your default life. Then there are other alternatives available to you. There is your positive life. There is your grateful life, your empathetic life, your compassionate life, your go out there and crush it today life. You need to choose which one you're going to live today. Which one are you going to focus? Attitude and your mind and your attitude is 50% of the job. This is such an powerful thing to remember first off. So once you've got that locked down, your mind, your lens. The next step are your words. It's a natural progression. Your words are absolutely important to you and your daily life. Your mind doesn't know the difference whether you are. So when you're talking about yourself, your mind doesn't know the difference between whether you're joking or whether you're being serious. So always be kind to yourself. Always say kind words about yourself and always speak positively about yourself. Very, very important. And so when we talk about your words need to show intention. Not I will try my best and I think I will. I will do this. I am going to achieve that. It's so important. And once you have that, you've got your lens focused on being positive. Your words are now being positive as well. Like Bruce Lee says, and I'm paraphrasing here, that your words are powerful. They cast spells over you. And how do I know that? When you write words down, you have to spell them. Very, very powerful words. No pun intended. Powerful words. And then lastly, your mind is focused, your words are focused. The next step will be your actions. And this is the final step of being positive. How do we translate our lens, focusing to our words, focusing to our action? Now, a lot of people get stuck here. This is the part that gets everybody. Some people want motivation. I need to be motivated to be positive. And there's a saying I heard on the internet that discipline eats motivation for breakfast. It's again such a powerful statement. Discipline is the thing that is going to get you going. Like Denzel Washington says, and again paraphrasing here, discipline will start the race for you, but consistency will complete the race. So those two things are what is needed: discipline and consistency. The motivation will come later. Just focus on those two words, discipline and consistency. And remember that whatever you do it every single day. If you start something today and you start something tomorrow, it becomes a new habit. But if you forget today, it's your fault. If you forget tomorrow, it's the start of a new habit. So this is the way we think about discipline, we think about consistency, and we think about new habits. So, when it comes to positivity, there is so much we can talk about. There's so much we can kind of expand on, but I like to keep things simple. And I believe that if you focus on these three things every day, starting today, you can become a more positive person. I want you to make every part of this podcast intentional. I want you to think about your thoughts. I want you to think about your words, and I want you to think about your actions. Because if your thoughts are better, more positive, your words become positive, your actions become positive, and you become positives. And it all starts with one simple thought. Today and from now onwards, I'm going to be more positive. I hope this podcast inspires you to take your first step. And again, your first step can be so important in any project in your life. The last thing I will leave you with is the forest analogy. A lot of people, they would see the forest, and the metaphor is the forest represents all your problems, all your things that are standing in your way. It's filled with wild animals, it's filled with bad people. And so you think to yourself, I've got to get through that forest. How do I do this? And you get overwhelmed. The first question you've got to ask yourself is, can you take your next step forward? And most people can. Yeah, but what about this and what about this? Can you take your next step forward? Yes, I can. Well, then let's take that step. And tomorrow you will take the next step and the next step, and so you go. So this podcast, think of it as your first step, and we'll get through many forests together. And I believe that positivity is a way for everybody to be. I want you to be the best version of you. There's only one like you in the world. In the end, there can be only one.